You've got the skills, you've got the work ethic, and you've got the knowledge. Now all you have to do is pass the interview. Hi all, it's Kimoni here. Welcome to or welcome back to my channel. As the intro already told you, today we are going to be discussing interview prep, and I'm gonna give you a 5-step plan in order to prepare for your interview so that you can get your dream job. First thing you're going to do is to research the company and the wider industry. Now, researching the company is really important because think about it. You could sign up from the interviewer standpoint, you could do the same role at 1,000 different companies. Why do you specifically want to work at their company? And so it's really important to research the company values and also what the company has been doing recently and how those actions reflect those values or principles that they have. Another thing which people tend to forget about is to do wider reading around your industry. Learn about like the sector that you want to go into and generally what's happening around that standpoint, because you may be asked about it, or to get some extra brownie points you can start talking about how the specific company that you're applying for is being a business leader or is innovating or is getting involved in the industry, and that will really help you stand apart from other applicants. Second thing to do is to become really confident on your why. What I mean is you understand your role and you understand why you want to do your role, your passion for that role. This is really important because companies want to see, especially if you're applying for an apprenticeship or an entry level job or a graduate scheme, that you understand what role you're getting into, you understand the industry slash team that you're getting involved in, and you understand what opportunities and progression are in that role. Companies want to see that you're passionate about this role because they're going to be investing in you, whether you're doing an entry level job or you're a trainee, or if you're just a regular employee coming out of nowhere. They want to see that you're passionate about that role because one, people who are passionate tend to do better anyway, and two, the company, if it's a good company, is going to invest in your progression, it's going to invest in your skills, and they want to know that you're in it for the long run. Third thing you want to do is practice, practice, practice. And when I say practice, I mean practice with people and also on your own. When you practice with people, that can be really helpful because they can give you feedback about the clarity of your answers, whether you're missing anything, and in general, they can help coach you into becoming a better speaker and a clearer speaker. However, it is still important that you practice by yourself, ideally in front of a camera or mirror, just because obviously, especially if it's like an online interview, it can sometimes, you might not notice how your body language changes, or you might not notice that you don't keep eye contact with the camera on your laptop. And so ideally you also want to be practicing in front of a surface where you can see yourself, a camera or a mirror, so that you can learn your habits and therefore adjust them before the interview. It's also really important to practice because over time you build your interview skills and you become better at answering questions. You craft better responses as well. I feel like a lot of people sometimes rush into interviews because they want to get it over with, but especially if it's online or if it's in person, you'll usually be given a notice, like maybe 3 days to a week's notice, so you have plenty of time to prepare. Don't rush into an interview. Practice your responses, practice your body language, get feedback so that you can be fully prepared for the real thing. Fourthly, you want to craft responses for all major interview questions that typically come up. You want to be able to establish your strengths and also map examples for those strengths. Those examples should be varied so that you're showing a wide variation of skills, as well as showing that you're a proactive person through explaining multiple examples. Now, I personally think the STAR method is quite useful as a roadmap as to how you should answer interview questions. And whilst I don't stick rigidly to it because I find I'm a lot less clear, or I'm a little more nervous when I follow a certain structure, I find it better in interviews to be more fluid. But the STAR method really helped me map out my examples with my individual strengths. Personally for me, when I write down my responses and I practice off those notes, and I don't memorize answers because you will seem really rigid and robotic during the interview, but they did help me put my thoughts onto paper and really formulate them in a way that made sense. Another thing to note when it comes to like practicing your responses and creating answers is that you really want to focus on skills and attributes that align with the company's values. You want to make sure that you seem like a good culture fit for that company. And then lastly, you want to master your presentation and introduction. So that means like dressing professionally to an interview, and try and sit somewhere with a relatively like plain background, preferably white, but any plain background will do. Master your introduction. A lot of the times interviews will start out with tell me about yourself, and you really want to craft a response to this that really shows who you are, shows your dedication, shows why you want the role, basically summarizes your whole like stick, everything that you're about to go more in depth to in the rest of the interview, your strengths, your weaknesses, why you aren't the role, what experience you've had. You want to really like summarize that into a 1 or 2 minute like speech as such, to really introduce yourself. Good introductions leave a really good impression on the interviewers. It sort of sets the tone for the rest of the interview. So out of all the questions that you're going to practice, definitely tell me about yourself is definitely one which you really want to craft a good response to, and you really want to make sure is up to par. And that is my guide to acing your interview. I really hope this video helped. I really hope anyone who's watching who might have an upcoming interview or is just watching for future, this was helpful, and these tips were useful. Comment down below if you have any more tips that you think that would help anyone else who wants to do an interview. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Like, comment, subscribe, and thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.